So hello everyone, welcome to the channel Academy of Fine Learning. In this tutorial video, we'll see regarding the Java access modifiers. It's a very well known, very well discussed, and always a matter of a matter of curiosity for the new learners of the Java programming language. Because sometimes I'll go through with that. I'll tell you that what are the misconceptions we have. Always we have some misconceptions regarding the Java access modifiers, especially for the first learners. So we'll see that how different access modifiers are provided by Java and how they work differently in different situations, and on how it can help you to hide the data to implement the abstraction feature of the Java programming language. So the objective of the video that is that after watching the video, you'll get the detailed explanation of Java access modifiers and practical program-wise explanations you'll get. So I'll share my Eclipse screen. I'll execute all the programs which I'll provide to you, and then I'll explain the code line by line. Along with that, whatever the programs will be explained to you, you'll get the note of it. A note will be provided in the description of the video. So it's a complete guide for access modifiers in Java. So we'll go through with the basics of the Java access specifiers before we go practically and execute these concepts. So what do you mean by access modifiers actually in Java? An access modifier is nothing but access controller. That is, if you control the access of any class to a certain level, or variables to a certain level, methods to a certain level, or the constructors to a certain level, or even the packages to a certain level, then you can use the access specifiers. So depends upon depending upon the use of the different access specifiers, that is access modifiers. Okay, these two terms are used interchangeably in Java: access modifiers and access specifiers. So those are coming from C++ background. It's a big matter of confusion because in C++ access modifiers and access specifiers are different concepts. So here also, when someone will ask you that what's the difference between access specifier and access modifier, just give them the answer, both are different in Java also. Then let them have the curiosity and let them learn. This way you can have fun and learn it. So we'll come to the topic now. We have 4 types of the access specifiers in Java. The first one is default access specifier. Default access specifier is if you when you write integer a is equals to 100. So by default it comes by the Java compiler as a default access specifier. The default modifier can be used only for the package. For class, you're not supposed to even write down anything like default keyword, then it will throw an error. So when no access modifier is specified, JVM will automatically assign default access specifier, default access modifier. In Java, the technical term is access modifier. Okay, when I make interchangeably access specifier and access modifier, but the standard term used by the Java later versions is access modifier only. So what is the scope of default? The default access modifier's scope is within the package. So a package can have many classes. A class can have different variables, though those things can be accessed inside the same package. So a package can have, suppose, 2 classes, and 2 classes can have different members. There's the member variables and member methods. All can be, by default, will come under the capacity of the default access modifier. How it will happen, how it will work, well, I'll show it to you. Next is the public. Public is like a broad. Yes, public is like it has the big heart. How does it mean actually? The name itself implies that when a particular class, method, variable, or constructor is made as public, particular class or method or constructor or variable will be visible everywhere, so can be accessed everywhere, even from outside of the package. So some other package is having, suppose, 10 classes, and your package has 2 classes. So from the outside class also you can access your other packages or other classes which is residing to the other package, their variables and methods. The opposite thing of public is private. As the name implies, the public will set the visibility of a member, whether it is variable or method, only within the class. Only within the class. So you should not supposed to make a class as private. I'll go to those points later. Now, the most important thing over here, three things are very simple: default, public, and private. Most important thing and most curious thing over here is that protected. The most sweetest thing over here. What is protected actually? The protected is having a special access. Special access is within the package, like the default, access modifier accessible to the entire package. So for protected also, it is a protected variable or method is also accessible within the same package plus with the subclasses of the class. If class A is there and class B inherits class A, class B can directly access protected even if in the other package. So what is between the access specifiers and access modifiers? So this is a big confusion, misconception is widely there in student community, especially for the school kids and for the earlier college kids. Those are learning Java first time, especially those have come from the C++ background, because in C++, public, private, default, protected, these are considered as access specifiers, correct? And the access modifiers are static, final, and all those things. So they here also try to difference between, in Java also we have static, final, right? So we try to difference, so we have the same mentality that, okay, static, final is access modifiers and this public, private, protected, default are access specifier. No, here in Java, it is either access modifiers or non-access modifiers. There is no access specifiers. I repeat, there is no access specifiers. Either access modifiers like public, private, protected, default, or non-access modifiers like static, final, and all these things. This is not the topic to discuss about the non-access modifiers. This is not the topic of this tutorial video, but we have lots of the non-static, the non-access modifiers in Java. Like we have the keywords like final, static, abstract, synchronized, which is used for threads actually, transient, then volatile, then string, FP, used for string functions. So all these things are known as the non-access modifiers. Yes, these are have nothing related to the level of access, okay, but they provide a special functionality when specified. So when we'll go to these topics, you'll learn in details. So we have the basic limit of this particular access specifier. So when it is private, and only used inside the class. The package, it cannot be used. So outside of the class, a private variable, a private method cannot be used. The subclass cannot use it. Outside package, there is no way, definitely. If it is not inside package, other classes can't access, then how outside package it can be accessed? The opposite thing is public over here. Public is accessible everywhere. See, inside the class also you can access a public member variable or method. Then inside the package also you can access. Inside package from the other classes, other interfaces you can use. Even the subclasses also you can use, and from the subclasses also you can use, and even the outside of the package also those things are available if it is defined as public. Default is the by default. So till now, if you have not dealt with the private, protected, or public, then you have dealt with the default, because JVM provides default access modifier by default. So here we have the inside class, you have access. Inside the package also you can access, but the subclass and outside package cannot access that. Protected, for the protected, yes, it can be accessed inside the class, it can be accessed inside the package. So see this, it's like default. Protected is like default. Exception is that in case of subclass, the protected can be used, but the default cannot be used. In the outside package, it can, both the things cannot be used, default and protected. This is the basic theoretical background which we need to learn before we go through with these things. Now I'll show you the particular note which I'm going to cover with. This note is there, which I'll provide in the description of the video, so that all the students who wants to watch my videos, and across the globe, the people who wish to see and get the Java notes, they can get benefited. Okay, so the default access modifiers and their details are provided over here. I just explained it. Now we'll see these things practically. So I'll not go through with this theoretical discussion anymore. I'll go through with the practical stuff. Let me copy this program and let me execute this program also here. I'll spend line by line. It will take lots of time, so I just want to make my videos short and understandable. So void display is a method which is provided inside the class base class. Base class has a single method, void display. There is no access specifier provided over here. We have not provided public. Have we provided? No. Have we provided protected? No, not provided protected also. We have not provided private either. Yes, so basically you have not provided anything, means by default is provided by the compiler. But make sure that you should not supposed to try to write default here. It's in class, right? So inside the class is not possible. In case of interface, you can provide. Default methods are allowed only in interfaces. So it's clearly showing it to you. Default methods are allowed only in interfaces. So you should not supposed to try inside a class. System.out.println, we are typing base class. So this class name we are printing. So base class display with default scope. With default scope. That's what we're going to print. Now, main method. Yes, the main class. Inside the main class, we have the main method. So program will start execution from here. Then we have creating the object of base class. The object of base class, correct? The name of the object is obj. Yes. Now, using the default constructor, we are creating the object. So obj is a very simple object. It has the capacity to call void display. Is it possible to call void display? Yes, it can be possible to call void display. Why? Because as I showed over here just before in the PPT, that by default the access modifier for void display is default, and the default access modifier allows a method or variable to be accessed within the same package. So by default it comes within the same package. It's in the same class, the same program, it comes within the default package, correct? Yes, so definitely we can call this display method through this obj. So line number 16 will not give any error. It's able to do calling to void display, but that thing will not be possible if we make it private, because a private allows only to be called from inside the body of the class. So you are trying to call display from the outside of the body of the class base class. So it's not possible. Base class having display method, that display method cannot be accessed using their own object obj, because it is given as private. If you create this object inside, if you copy this thing and create an public static void, when the entire thing if you copy and if you paste over here line number 7, then these things can be used. It can be used directly, because on that case we are creating the object of the class within the body of the class, and we are also calling the method from the body of the class. Otherwise private will not work. If default works, then definitely public will work. Yes, definitely public will work, na? Yes, clear? Just see that how I am using different things to experiment. This is the best way of learning. If you see using the different tools, keep on changing and trial and error basis, you can learn better actually. So while following my video, do try your own. See here that protected is used, and also it is giving the output without any error, because protected is like default. It means that first of all it can have the access within the class and within the same package. So it comes within the same package. That's why default can be protected, can be used to call this method from outside of the body of the base class, correct? But remember that protected has a special capacity add on to the default. That is, if there is a subclass, then it can be useful. On the subclass, only the protected can be used and other things cannot be used. I'll go through those programs one by one. Let me go through examples. Now we'll see regarding the public access modifier. Just now I showed you the public actually. So the same thing is provided over here. So I just make it public and show it to you already. Yes, we can do that because it's the body of the with the same package. Even if it is out of the package, if the class main is out of the package, or if you define in some other package, then also it's possible to access, because it's public. That capacity only the public has. No other access modifiers has. Now protected access specifier is a different thing. So I'll explain it in a bit more details, and you learn regarding the inheritance concept. It's very interesting actually. So it gives you your spatial focus. This class A is having a single method, protected void display, and you're printing that software testing help, or you're learning and learning. Yes. Now you can see that class A is inherited by class B, and then class C is inherited class B. Class A in extends keyword is inherited by class B. So class B has features of class A, including definitely protected variables and public variables. We have that already. So we are focusing on protected variables and methods. Not only variables and methods. And class items, that is a variable or now class C, as you can see, class C extends B, means class C inherits the property of class B. What class B has? It has nothing inside written inside, but it has void display because it is protected. So it has automatically got this protected void display in class B. Now when you are extending, that is the inheriting class B using the extends keyword, class C also get the feature of class A. So this thing it has, including protected void display. Void display is also available in class B. Sorry, features of class A it has, now features of class B it has. So class B already have protected void display from class A. So C also have the same feature, that is void display accessibility as, because we have used the protected access modifier. Very important point it is. Now we are using public static void main. The program will start execution from line number 30. Yes. So now we are creating an object of B, class B, creating an object of class B, correct? And using that object, it's very interesting that we are trying to call the display method. So here inside there, line 9, we have seen that nothing we have written inside the class B's body. Just we have inherited A, class A's features. Similarly, we are creating the object of C. Its name of the object is COBJ. Using this object, we are calling the display method. Yes. Now display method is defined in class A only, but is inherited by both B, and this B inherited and this class C inherited class B. So C and B both has the method void display. So if we execute this program without any error, we can see the output. Yes, we'll see the output very smoothly. Then twice. See this? Yes. Why? Because OBJ can call and access display method. Display is given as protected. Yes, are you getting? Similarly for COBJ, which is the object of the class C, which can also have the access of it. Yes. So that's what we have to just now see using the trial and error basis. Now here, as an interesting thing we'll see over here, if I execute, you can see that output is still generating. Why? It's not supposed to be inherited, right? See this, now we have not using protected. Actually the protected full-fledged example is not given over here. To give that, you need to provide different packages. Why? Because from the class main, when you're creating the objects of B and C, keep one thing in mind, it's still in the same package. Still in the same package. So that's why it can be called without any problem. If class main or class B, class main is in the same package, so concept of package will come other time, you'll learn later. So for the time being, just to imagine that if it is in the different package Y, suppose, and this class A and B and C is the another package X. So this is package X. It's not possible in this way. One program is one package only. Try to make you explain, that's it, because you have not gone to that level. Now you are in the beginning, you're learning basics of the objects and classes. The access modifier is the basic part. Even if it is in the different package, then also it will be useful. Yes, that's what the main funda is. Otherwise, here in this example, we can show you as a simulation. Example of a simulation that by using the protected, we can use it directly, even if it's in the different package. That makes sense, and you have understood the concept. Now, private access modifier. Private access modifier is just the opposite of public. Let me show you. Simple. I've shown one called. Here I'll show you another program. Private int num 100, correct? And private void print message method printing hello Java. So when you get object of obj, there will be no option, there will be no problem, because obj is a object of the class test class that's possible to create in body of the another class. But we're trying to print the value of num as it is private over here. The access modifier is private, it cannot be used. Similarly, the print message method cannot be accessed from the outside of the body of the class test class, because it is also private access modifier. So give a compile time error. Yes. Similarly, print message is not visible. Cannot see that because it's private. Used only inside the body of the now we'll see how get now a shortcut we'll see. There is a method to access private member variables. It's very important actually. Sometimes we want to make the variables value private so that it cannot be directly accessed and changed by the other class and other objects, or the objects from the other class, but we need to access the private members. For example, check it out here. The only thing private over here is the string str name. The str name will hold some string value that is made as private. Now we have a method get name. Get name method will return a string data type, return the string value, return this dot str name. So whatever the value of str name is there, that will be returned. This means the current object it's referring. This dot str name will refer to that current object. Suppose the current objects have the value of the str name Java. The next object may have the value of str name as plus plus. Everything is possible, right? So for the current object, it will return Java. For the other object, it will return C++. That's this operator. Now, public void set name. What this does? Set name. Set name is doing a single thing. That is, it is taking as an argument a string. Any string value it can take as an argument. Then that value will be assigned to this string name variable, to the current object, the object which is calling. That's why now here also we use this keyword. Now here you can see the main method. We are creating the data class object. Data class of the class is data class. You can pick the object of the data class. Name of the object is D. Now dot set name. You are calling the set name method and setting the value Java programming. And in next line, line number 19, we are printing that value which has been set by setName method by fetching it using the getName method. Now the question is that how can it's possible that you set the string by using the setName method? Yes, it's possible because this method is public. This method is public. So by using this method, we can change the value of private variable. Directly you cannot change. That you cannot change. If you feel like you can use directly dot string name is what? Name. Yeah, in the name of the variable is string name. If you use string name over here, you feel like directly give some value and modify it. Value. Then the field as the string name is not visible because it's private over there. Directly you cannot use using the object, but there is a shortcut. Very useful it is when you will go to the advanced learning. You can see that what's the use of it. It will be used for many purposes. Directly any object cannot change the value, but through a particular given method it can be changed. By using the setter method, it can change the value. How we can see in the line number 18. using the name dot set name method. We're calling the set name method. We are setting the value of str name as Java programming. Line number 19, we are fetching the value using get name method. In this way, these two public methods, set name and get name, will give and it will assign the private variables value. Then it will fetch back. See the without any error, it will proceed. So how we are giving the value? We are giving the private variables value using this. Right over here. Will be printed out screen. Hello is set by the line number 18. Calling. Hello India is hello to str name. Private variable changed using a public. A very handy example. Should always follow this. The basics for the access modifiers. So there are frequently asked questions. That is, how many access modifiers are there in Java? Always keep in mind there are 4. Sometimes students say 3. That is a public, private, and protected. No, there is a default access modifier is provided by JVM. So you don't give any access. So what are access modifiers and non-access modifiers in Java? I just given the example in the. You just revise the video tutorial, then you understand all the things. Why access specifier important? Access modifiers actually specify which class can access which other classes or methods or variables like that. Using access modifiers, we can limit the access of various classes, methods, constructors, variables, and also ensure encapsulation and reusability of Java entities. Which modifiers are not used for the class, protected and private you cannot use for the class. You make a class as protected or private, will throw error. It can make public also. Class cannot be made as protected. Class cannot giving in this way one modifiers. So modifiers that define the behavior of entities like class, method, variables, is they are associated are non-access. This is a different topic. Non-access modifiers, static, we have final, we have synchronized, volatile, abstract. These keywords we use for those methods for that purpose. Non-access modifiers. Okay, so those things we'll see in some. For the timing, this topic is covered. If you have any doubt, you can put in the comment section. And please subscribe to my channel and subscribe and share. Thank you.